This is Inside the Wolf's Den, an entrepreneurial journey with Shawn and Joni Wolfswinkel.
Welcome back to Inside the Wolf's Den with your hosts, Shawn and Joni Wolfswinkel. Man, it has been a while.
I know, we're slacking.
Well, we're not slacking, so just to kind of back up a bit, we've kind of been taking a little break here, right?
So it's as we're recording this, it's summer, and we took advantage of summertime, right? And just you being more
present,
more family time. So.
Absolutely. We just got back from Ohio, of all places. I personally wanted to go on a Mexico beach vacation. I was picturing that, toes in the sand, all of the things, right? And then, of course, our son, he's been dying since he was 8 or 9 years old. He's been dying to go to Cedar Point to ride all the roller coasters. And I will tell you, man, like that, there's some legit roller coasters there. I don't think every single one of those rides I was scared on.
Yeah, so it definitely got us out of our comfort zone, and just like we talk about on this podcast, so it pushed our limits to the max. But and we're getting old. So.
I remember we used to go on those rides, no problem, like 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. I don't know, but 20 years ago. But now it's like I had to close my eyes going down every single one of those rides.
Yeah, so the summer's been filled with, we did Six Flags in San Antonio and SeaWorld, and then we went to Cedar Point later on, but it's been roller coaster summer.
Yes, so I'm tired of the roller coasters, and we are back recording now, right? Back in the saddle.
So, but it's been good, and like we talk about on the show, just sometimes you just need take a break, recharge. But for us, it was about spending more time with family and doing some stuff this summer. Kids had a lot of camps and sports and all sorts of stuff. So it was just a busy summer. So many of you.
Yep. Okay. So hopefully everybody else is having a great summer, and you guys are also taking some time for yourselves as well.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today?
So we are going to talk about sales, which one of my favorite things to talk about is sales, because I love to sell, right? Yeah. And so I'm hosting a webinar towards the end of the month, and it's geared towards sales and how you as a salesperson can really, kind of get out of the weeds of things. So I think sometimes as salespeople, we start to get things rolling, right? And then we have trouble fulfilling, and so we get stuck in the operational side of things, and it's hard to get back into selling once you've got caught up for that. So I'm going to be talking a lot about that and how you as a salesperson can really, really dive deeper into sales and do what you love to do, right?
Yeah. So is this audience for this podcast, who's it for? Is it for business owners, salespeople, or everybody?
I think it's everybody. It's business owners, salespeople, trade industries, property management, you name it.
Awesome. And just go into a little bit about some of the topics and why is this important?
Yeah, so one of the topics we're going to be discussing is the silent killers of sales, right? Like what's holding us back from truly being able to sell, which we're going to go deeper into, the follow-ups, right? Why you're missing the follow-ups, right? Is it because you don't have a follow-up system, or is it because you are too stuck in the weeds of doing things? And 48% of salespeople only follow up with a lead one time, right? Why is that? Yeah. And so we're gonna get into a lot of that and how you can get out of the weeds, get yourself out of the weeds, and start selling more.
Yeah, and not that we're perfect at this, but we've really seen along the years of like helping other franchise owners and business owners. We've really seen where people have, when we're counseling or mentoring, I've really seen it, and I'm sure you've had a lot of calls like this too, and I remember those days, like when we were just opened our doors, we took an approach that we were just going to grow, and it was all about sales, right? And we were just trying to hit a growth number, and like any business, eventually yes, you grow so big and then you end up having trouble fulfilling, or like you said, managing it all. But you never can lose sight of sales. And I think a lot of people in the beginning, I think why a lot of people struggle at the smaller size is because that's what happens is they bring on some accounts and then they're like, oh, I gotta be perfect, and I gotta manage these properties perfect. I'm just gonna use property management example.
Yeah.
But manage it perfectly, and then they're not bringing in new accounts. They're not being, and anything in sales today, you have to be Johnny on the spot quick, right? And really answer those calls quick, get out there quickly, meet with them quickly, have a sales appointment quickly. And then they start dropping that or pushing it back because they're so focused on, and then they end up managing 20 doors or 50 doors maybe at the most, but and it gets them stuck there, right?
Right, absolutely. And I mean, even for me, when I first got started, same thing, right? I was I love to sell, I love to be out there selling, but then of course I would get back to the office, I'd have to enter everything in the CRM, and my CRM were like sticky notes everywhere. If you remember, if you walked into my office, I literally had sticky notes everywhere, and that was my CRM. That's how you would come into there and be like, Joni, what the heck is going on here? But that was my chaos. I knew where everything was, right?
When we first started, did we have a CRM?
We did have a CRM,
what
but salespeople are terrible sometimes.
I don't think we had a CRM until we were like 300 doors.
Okay, maybe not. But anyhow, so I was stuck trying to figure out like, okay, like when did this lead call? Like, how am I going to follow up with that one? And I was kind of trying to remember everything in my head, right? That was my CRM back then. And then to the point where, okay, we got a CRM, maybe that's, we started entering everything in the CRM, starting to put some automation into place, right? And then, but then again, when I was out in the field, I would still have to get the paperwork, do all the things on the back end to make sure that deal got fulfilled, which would slow me down. Yeah. And then I remember someone telling me, Joni, like, why are you like going crazy? Like, why don't you just hire an assistant to help you? And so when I hired my first assistant, a sales assistant to truly help me, that's when I really saw, I can just bring in doors, right? Yeah. That's all I need to do is bring in doors, and let my sales assistant fulfill the CRM, making sure the onboarding, the paperwork, all of that is squared away for the operations team. Because sometimes salespeople and operations, they kind of, fight at times because, I'm just trying to bring in a deal. The salespeople just try to bring in the deal, and the operations is like, oh my gosh, like they just dropped this all on me, and none of it's right? Yeah. And so that sales assistant really helped me, stay ahead and do what I truly love to do, which is sell.
And then now today with the technology that's in play, you can even take that to a whole nother level, right? With even take it further with AI. But there's so much now that you can do that can automate almost, not all of it, but a big portion of it, correct? Where you can just have things rolling. And we're going to talk about that, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's nice to get emails sent out automatically, and you're like, man, sometimes I think, is it actually working? Like, are those emails getting sent out? And I'm like, oh man, like all these emails got sent out automatically, right? And things are just working. Yeah. I think, and that's the whole point of the follow-up. I think that, just recently we had a deal come through that was 2 years old, right? Like they might not be ready right now, but if you continue to follow up with these individuals, eventually they're going to be ready. Yeah. Right.
So talk about some of those silent killers in sales.
Yeah. So first one that I'll talk about, the missed follow-ups. Right. So how quickly are you following up with right after you had a discovery call or a conversation with somebody? Right.
Or even met them at I think there's follow-up in trade shows. If you work at trade events, how quickly are you following up with them? Or you meet somebody on the street, had a conversation, or in the elevator, how quickly are you following up with that person, right? I mean, all of it.
Absolutely. And so, like, knowing that it should be within 24 hours. I don't care. Like, not 2 days, not 3 days. Like, it should be within 24 hours. Yeah. All right. And then with that, I mean, you should have at least 3 or 4 more follow-ups within a couple days. With each day, a day after, right? until they tell you no. So I'll give you a perfect example. So we just hired a sales BDM in Albuquerque not too long ago. And we have a salesperson here in Houston, right? And the guy in Houston, he had lots of experience. I mean, he was in this industry for a while, been working with us for a while. And then our Albuquerque guy had zero experience in the industry, right? But my Albuquerque guy was doing circles around my Houston guy. Not because he knew the material, not because he was an expert in property management. That guy would follow up every single day until they told him no.
Almost religiously, almost like just nothing magical, right?
No.
just
You don't even have to have the right terminology as long as you just call and follow up with them.
Yeah. So Houston, you better be listening. But and then what's the next silent killer?
So the next one is leads forgotten in the inbox. How many times do you get referrals in your inbox or leads in your inbox, and you take weeks to clear out your emails?
Or phone calls or voicemails. And if you're not answering live, right there you're already losing. Because whoever answers live is going to win the deal.
Right.
In majority of cases.
Yeah. And it drives me crazy to see so many business owners that are throwing money at marketing. I mean, their budgets are, $5,000, $10,000 a month, whatever that is, right? But they're not answering the phone. Like, you are just losing money, wasting money if you're not answering the phone live.
Yeah. The next one is CRM chaos. Talk about that.
Yeah. I mean,
so let's just say they did get a CRM. They are the next step, but then they're not managing it.
Yeah,
right?
They're not managing it. You have new leads that haven't even been responded to or haven't been entered in the right drip campaign. So they're getting those automatic follow-ups and emails. Then go in there and clean it up, or have your sales assistant go in there, manage it, and clean it up, right? I have my sales, like today, our sales assistants in our organization, they keep our CRM clean, right? There's zero leads in there, right? New leads right now. Everything is responded to. There's no tasks in there. All the tasks are cleaned up each day.
Because a good CRM will have like email, text, and then like follow-up phone calls, and you can call right out of it, record it. But and a good virtual assistant or remote team member can really help in that
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And then the last one that I always talk about is doing admin work during your prime selling time. Guys, again, if you are not growing, you are dying, right? If your company's not growing and you're stuck in admin work, you'll never grow. You'll be in the same position as you were a year from now, 2 years from now.
So what do you recommend to somebody? I started my business last year. It's just me and another guy, but so I'm still doing a lot of the management. Let's just use property management. We can use a different industry if you want, but what do you say to that when like, hey, I got 10 people calling me about different maintenance requests, and yes, I don't want to turn off my marketing spend because I need to grow. I need to get this business. I'm not making any money yet. I'm still just breaking even. What do I do with those sales calls? How do I manage my day?
You need to get out of your own way, and you need to hire an assistant to do the day-to-day stuff. Okay. And so hiring a VA as a generalist, meaning like your right hand, almost like an executive assistant. So that executive assistant does all the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Okay.
Are you talking in sales, or are you talking in the other admin stuff?
All the other admin, operational stuff, and sales. You can also wrap the CRM stuff in there, the onboarding stuff, right?
Can they really do it? Like, can they really help me do that, or do you feel like what?
Absolutely.
I mean, they're not going to do as good as I can do it.
Guys, you need to. That's one thing you need to get out of your head. Like, number one, it's about finding the right person for the right seat, right? And so, it's no different than hiring somebody in-house. If you think if you honestly, the business owner, think that you're going to grow by doing it all yourself, you're crazy. Believe me, we've been there. Yeah. We've tried it. It did not work, right? You need people to help you get to that next level. All right. And so it's all about finding the right person for the right seat. Like some of the things that we do is we use the predictive index when placing them. So we can really look at, hey, what are the skill sets needed for this position? If we're looking for a generalist, we're wanting to look for somebody that can take initiative, right? We want somebody that is not scared to make those follow-up calls, okay? And so the predictive index will tell us those things so that way we can narrow down to, okay, who do we need for this specific role?
And I'm trying to say this correctly, but we've always found that like number one is like I think sometimes majority of the cases people can do things better than we can anyway, right? Even though we think we're
100%, and that's and you need to get your okay. I'll let you finish.
Yes, thank you. But so I mean, number one is they can usually do better, and that's been proven numerous times that they normally can. But then also, even if they don't have quite the experience, maybe, and that's the problem you're worried about is they don't have the experience. A lot of times, just allowing them to do other tasks they can respond quicker than maybe you would. Maybe you weren't going to get to them till 5 o'clock. They can get to them about 2, so the people are happier with the response times and the communication. So they're going to do better. That's going to be 90% of it is how quickly can you respond to issues, and that can solve even if you don't have the answers. But a lot of times, what I think people are worried about all the time is that like, are they going to do it well enough? Are they trained well enough? And you know what? Like, they're going to make some mistakes. Yes, you might lose some accounts, you might lose some clients along the way because they might make a mistake. That's going to happen. But if you're out here selling and growing the company, I can bring in 5 or 10 new clients, and yes, they're going to do fabulous on 8 or 9 of them, and then they might screw up on 1. But I brought in 5 new ones with that during that same time. So I think, and I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm just saying, like, giving you an example, put in the right mindset that you always got to keep growing. And then, like in property management, we can do 10 out of 10 over here, and an owner might say, hey, you know what? My house is appreciated. I paid it down over the last 10 years. I'm ready to sell it. I'm ready to go retire in Mexico, and they're going to sell that property. And if you're just killing it over here doing a 10 out of 10, but you have a bunch of people selling, but you didn't focus on the sale, so then you're still going to go on. You're still going to go.
So your best bet is get somebody to do this stuff so you can go grow.
Correct.
Right?
That's where I'm getting at.
Yes.
So talk about the leaky bucket in sales and kind of like why are you losing leads?
Yeah. So I think everybody should do a sales leak audit, right? To kind of see, okay, where are your problems at?
Yeah.
Right? You can start by saying, okay, do I follow up within 24 hours? All right. If you're not following up within 24 hours, then that's something that you need to work on. Right? Are your follow-ups tracked in a system, or are they still up in your head
on a sticky note,
or on a pink sticky note like mine were? Right? And have you followed up with at least 3 messages? Do you have templates? You know, you can create 3 different templates on what you want to say. And have you responded at least 3 different messages?
And they should be different forms of communication, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because some people respond, not very few anymore. Email, text does really well. Phone call still does well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. And do you know who is responsible for each of those stages of the process? If it's you, great, it's you, right? But who's responsible for that? And the last thing is, you know, is your CRM up to date this week? So look at all those, and if you're failing at one of those or 2 of those or 3 of those, and make an effort to clean that up.
Yeah. So talk about creating some habits now for creating a sales machine. So talked a lot about the problems and issues, but let's talk about some of the good habits to create a strong sales machine.
Yeah. So I think number 1, I think you need to block out time each day for follow-ups, right? And so if you're not blocking time in your calendar, you need to do that because fires are going to happen. Things are going to come up every single day, right? Even for me, in the position that I'm in now, things come up every single day. And if I don't time block myself to be able to, okay, what leads do I have today? What follow-ups do I need to follow up on? It'll never get done. You will put it on the back burner tomorrow, the next day. And guess what? By that time, you've already lost that lead, right? So first, time block yourself. And then you can also begin with just, if you don't have a system, create a simple system for you. If you don't have a CRM, you can do it on a Google sheet, right? If you're a small company, but create a system, get a CRM in place if you don't have one.
And use follow-up within 24 hours. Use pre-written templates. So you can, even if you still don't have a CRM, you can save emails, create emails that you're going to use and create some kind of follow-up system that, okay, on this day I'm going to hit this person, but you got to have some a CRM would be best, but if you can't afford it, at least create some kind of system. And somehow you're going to be reminded to do that every day.
Yep.
Correct.
And then the last thing I will say is you have to track it, right? And adjust if you need to weekly. So on a Monday morning, you can say, okay, what worked, right? Maybe what didn't work. What do I need to adjust this week? And
something that I think every sales organization, you need to use scripts and templates like we talked about. And then if you have a sales team, then you need to really be working and it sounds dumb, but it's not. It's using what do you call it when you practice?
Coaching.
But you going over the script.
Role play.
Role play.
Yes.
But you should be role playing and going over it, and this should be a constant just thing that you do on a consistent basis, because salespeople will deviate when they get challenged, and you got to bring them back, and so create some kind of script and some kind of template and something that they follow.
Yeah. So we got a lot of the stuff we went over is for like smaller offices, but yes, if you have a bigger team and a bigger sales team, guys, this stuff is extremely important, because you are probably the company that is spending tons of money on marketing, and your salespeople are not following up. You're just losing and wasting money, right?
Yeah, if they're not doing
not doing the follow-ups, if they don't have the scripts, the templates, all that in place.
Yeah, a system to follow, because then they're going to create their own system. It's probably not the one you want.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you. You have to spend time with your salespeople, listen to their calls. We record our salespeople on the calls, because that allows us to go back and say, okay, what can we help them on, right? Maybe they're struggling with an objection. Maybe they're struggling with, getting in front of the customer, right? And so what can we help them with? And like you said, there's times where they get thrown for a loop because they've never had that objection before. Correct. And then they go back to their old habits.
And this applies to any type of business. So I know we're talking a lot about property management, but even in our plumbing company, everything was premeditated or we had a script and a process to follow. So everything down to, okay, the way, number one, you show up very presentable. Everybody's in red, everybody's in blue or khaki pants and your black shoes. So your outfit is number one, because you want a presentation, right? It's clean, it's pressed. You have your name tag so they know who your name, because okay, let me back up. So when they book the job, right? It's already, the sales process already starts. So they call in, we set them up with, okay, Reyes use a name that's not real. Ryan's going to be coming out to your property, and I'm going to schedule your drain clog with such and such at this time at this pay. You got this block, and we do very short blocks because people don't want to wait 6 hours for an appointment. So you try to do smaller, and you try to do quickly that day because they're going to just keep calling. And then they're going to get a text message with a picture of the technician that's coming out in front of his van with his uniform and his outfit. So when he shows up to the house, right, he can't park on the driveway, because if one of our vans is leaking oil, I don't want to leak oil into their hopefully our fans aren't thinking, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we park on the street, and then also that looks like good for the neighborhood. They see our van, they see we're coming, they see who's there. He gets out. It's the same technician that she got a picture of. So if it's a female, she feels more comfortable. They're presented well. He brings out his little mat, that he lays down and puts in front of the door so he can wipe his feet properly. He hands them a business card, not shakes their hand because you don't know where their hands have been all day. All of this is thought of, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the script starts. So they are trained in a script. So they, we talk. I'm John with Mr. Rooter Plumbing. Is there something I can, what was the reason for the call today? And then we go into it, and then we talk about their water pressure. We talk about, is there any other things going on? Because I want to fix everything in the house if I can. So everything's a process, right? Even to the sales, to get to objections, before you try to really close. I mean, everything, and this is plumbing, right? And you're like, well, man, that's a little excessive, but that's the best companies out there.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of people argue as like, I don't want to have to use a script. I kind of like to go out there and, I don't want to be like verbatim on what the script says, but what the script does, not that you have to go word for word, but it allows you to, when you do have those objections, you're able to handle them quickly.
Yeah. And it's all human nature. So you're just handling the way people respond and getting them to commit, and there's reasons behind it all, because I don't want to get that like, I got to talk to my husband or I got to sleep on it. I'm trying to get to the point of where, hey, we're going to make a decision today, so I can either book it or I can do it while I'm there,
right?
And fix the repair and collect. Yeah.
And not only that, but I mean, all what you talked about is the experience, right?
Correct. And the experience.
And so they are getting a fantastic experience. And at the end, you want to get a review out of it,
correct,
right? Because when they're looking up Mr. Rooter Plumbing or whatever they're looking, or Real Property Management Preferred, they're looking to see what are the customers saying, right? And from there, hey, if they've had a great experience, why not ask for a referral?
Yeah.
You can get about I think there's statistics out there, 5 to 6 referrals off one client. If they've had a great experience. And then they're going to use you in the future for future, because if they're happy with that experience. And so, but it all goes into, so all of this is, you should have a system for all of it, right? Everything down to that's what we do in the property management as well. And but you need to create some kind of system and process if you don't have one. Even if you are just a one-man shop and it's you and you're also doing operations, you still have to have a system of how you're going to handle every little step. And then you teach that as you grow and put people into place. So let's talk about that. So say you are a one-man shop, you hired your first employee to help you. What's the key? The key is to get you out of the weeds so you can go out there and sell more.
So what's your first fix?
First fix is you have to delegate, right? And so, and I get this all the time. Well, I don't know what to delegate, Joni. So my suggestion for you is you need to, for the next week or so, journal out everything that you do on a day-to-day basis. And you will be surprised. When I did this initially, I was shocked. About 95% of what I did on a day-to-day basis was admin stuff. Things like emails, follow-ups, like just
paperwork.
Yeah, like trying to get the right paperwork, all of that.
Getting their W-9.
Entering it in, our software system. The point is, like, 95% of what I did was not productive, right? And so our goal is for you to delegate all that stuff that is not productive. Now, it's still important, yes, but you need to be out there on the streets, wherever you are, growing and selling, right? That's the focus.
So, like, with regards to sales, some key delegation would be lead tracking. So, tracking your leads, making sure that because that's a big, I think people miss that step a lot of times, is when you get a call, if you're not tracking it through a phone number specifically, you should be asking where did
you hear from us?
But because you need to know what's working, what's not. Because that was, I think, a mistake we made early on was we used to just throw money at different marketing stuff, and it's like, okay, I might have brought in 20 doors this month, but like I don't have a clue where they came from. It could have been all referrals, and I'm sitting here spending 10 grand on Google. It could have been some events that we did, or it could have been all Google, and I shouldn't have done anything else. But put more money into it. So I didn't know. So you got to, number one is keep up with lead tracking, right? Where do they come from? And you can automate a lot of this using phone numbers and a CRM system. Follow-up messages, right?
Follow-up, and then keeping your CRM clean at all times.
And whether it's HubSpot, Zoho, Lead Simple, whatever your CRM, there's millions out there. Find one that's right for your company, in your industry. And then appointment setting, right? Using
100%, yes. They should have access to your calendar. They should know where you're at, right? So that way they can book calls for you, book appointments for you. That was, for me, that kept my assistant kept my calendar full all the time. And that's what you want.
And some of that can be automated with Calendly, and so that they don't have to schedule times. A lot of times it's just convenient because that's giving access to the client, your calendar, so they can see when they can book, and that's convenient for them. So you're not trying to do it on the phone.
Right.
Yeah. So sometimes just using a system like that. Imagine, right? This was a revelation for you, walking in one day and realizing that you just mentioned it, warm leads that are prepped and ready to go in your calendar. You have a CRM that's clean. Everybody's been followed up with. Everybody's gotten their automated messages, texts. People are responding to it and you were working out in the morning, sleeping in, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the goal, guys.
And then and follow-ups are handled, right? So that's the goal you're trying to get to. So we obviously run a remote team member business called True Work Logistics. So one of the big key steps one thing that we really help in sales and help businesses and franchises is with remote team members. So explain how remote team members can really get involved within the sales process and help you out.
Yeah, I mean, it's been huge for our company, our organization. So I would say half of our staff, our property management companies, is remote, right, out of Mexico. And it varies. We have them in the sales department. We have them in pretty much every single department. But, in the sales role, for me, that was my first hire because I truly needed to be out there. When I was growing my business, I needed to be out there in the field getting new doors. And so having that assistant to help me with all the day-to-day stuff that has to get done allowed me to do that.
And then as you've grown in bigger organization and stuff like that, we still have remote team members helping number one, they help in operations dramatically, and that's evolved. But in sales specifically, we still have remote team members helping the on-site salespeople in each market. Correct?
Absolutely, and with the onboarding as well, right? Not just with the sales, but when you're bringing in a new client, I think a lot of businesses they don't put effort or focus on the actual customer experience, right? And I will tell you that if you don't, just like you're hiring an employee, right, you have to set the expectation up front the right way. If you're not setting that expectation with the client up front the right way, you're in that honeymoon phase, right? So if you don't set that, they're not going to trust you, and eventually they may leave you, right? And so
if you fail in those first 30 days, you're pretty much setting it up for failure the rest of the
day. And so we have what our remote team members do, not just with the sales, but they deliver an exceptional customer service on the onboarding, so that they're like, oh man, like this company is awesome. Like they did, they showed me every step of the way what they were gonna do, from marking the property to getting it leased and handling the maintenance, right, and the reporting, all of it. And they feel warm and fuzzy when we put a tenant in there, right? And so we want to have them have that exceptional customer service journey throughout the process. And our remote team members have been able to help them with that. So it's been a huge lift for our team.
And then help with the back end paperwork, things that a salesperson, number one, they're not great at getting, but then also and it's needed for a business. Like you got to have direct deposit, W-9,
Right. Each
disclosures, all this stuff signed from a real estate legality standpoint, but and IRS. But see, they're crucial, but it's stuff that salespeople just want to sell. They just want to hunt and kill and make their commission.
So. I mean the unit information sheet with all the property details, right? Like salespeople don't want to. It's like a headache to try to. For me, it was a headache trying to get that back from our owners, right? But our sales assistant do it, and they love it.
Yeah. And get it all put into the system.
Way more organized than us as salespeople. Way more organized.
So I hope that helped you. I hope that gives a little bit of help on some of the processes. If you want to reach out, Joni's got some free information, some of the stuff we talked about, finding a leaky bucket in your sales process, all that kind of stuff. We have different paperwork that we can hand out to help you along the way. If you're looking for a remote team member and need that sales assistant, please reach out to us. We would love, and we'll put the link in the show notes because we would love to work with you and help you and provide that. Especially a lot of ours are based in Mexico, which is it's a huge selling point because a lot of clients out there speak Spanish and need feel more comfortable talking to somebody in Spanish. So it goes a long way. So reach out to us. We'd be happy to help. And anything else you want to close with?
Last thing I will say is that at the end of Monday, August 25th from 12 to 1 Central Time, I am hosting a webinar called Sell Like a Machine. So, it's a LinkedIn Live webinar, so feel free to reach out to me. We'll actually have it in the show notes too, so it's you can access that easily. And love to have you on there. I'm going to give a bunch of free, workbooks and value so that way you can use in your business.
So we'll have it in the show notes. Find Joni Wolfswinkel on LinkedIn, and you'll see her upcoming webinar, or also just follow her, and you'll see it live.
Yes, and
LinkedIn.
You can see the newsletter that we have coming out, which we add value to that as well. So
awesome. Well, we'll see y'all next week, but I think we're having a relationship podcast. Yeah. We're gonna get
our anniversary is coming up, so that's fitting.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about all our problems within our marriage, and just joking.
Nah, we don't have any problems, right?
And how to overcome all that. So anyways, but so stay tuned, but please share this. If you know somebody that would get a lot of benefit out of this, please share it, like it, and rate us. It always helps. So thanks. We'll see you all next week.
See you next time, guys.
You've been listening to Inside the Wolf's Den, an entrepreneurial journey with Shawn and Joni Wolfswinkel. Tons of entrepreneurial podcasts are out there. Talking. But Joni and Shawn are living it every single day. Their portfolio now includes many franchises and medium-sized businesses. We talk about the trials and motivators of successfully running a business. Join us again soon for another podcast. But until then, reach out on the website at InsideTheWolfsDen.com, on Facebook at Inside the Wolf's Den, on Instagram at Inside the Wolf Den. We'll see you again soon. This is Inside the Wolf's Den. We'll see you next time.